Trap Politics TV, trappolitics.com. He is I and I am him. Live in the flesh. Here for the win. It's your boy Rel, man. Here trying to build with y'all. I try to do something exclusive, right? I try to have a cross stream thing going on here, but it ain't really seem to be working out the way how I kind of wanted to. I didn't really want to be out here talking to everybody and everything, but you know, see, it's trying to like bring people in, but I ain't trying to. How could you just, what I'm saying, keep the trying to keep it, totally low key though. Strip club etiquette, man. But before we get into it, I'm out here struggle streaming, so just bear with me, bear with the king, bear with the god a little bit. All right, cool. First and foremost, I want to introduce myself. My name is Rel. He is I and I am him for trappolitics.com. The one and only spot, the one and only place to be. If you want to check out some of the latest and greatest articles that's out there, definitely check out the website, trappolitics.com, man. So, strip club etiquette, where high value men meet women, right? And the reason why that's the title, I'm going to get into that in a second, because I think it's a very interesting title. I think a lot of us might have some common ground on this. If not, maybe this is just my perspective that I'm enlightening certain people on. Maybe, who knows? But let's figure it out as we go along, shall we? Now, what else do I have? Let me see if I got my whole intros set up and out the way. Mention the website, mention my name. Now let's get into it. Now, the reason why I say where high value men meet women is because my strip club experience, because I'm a strip club champion. I was a strip club veteran from 2018 to 2021. I was in there every Tuesday. I had my own little holiday up in that mug. I was in there throwing some bread, I'm not saying that I was throwing hundreds and thousands, but I was definitely spending some skrilla in the strip club at one point. I used to invite all my homies, people who has never been in a strip club before, to experience this. Shit, at one point, I was in that bitch wild early. When I say wild early, who goes to the strip club at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? My black ass. They're just opening up the spot, and they're like, damn, nigga, are you here to clean up? Are you security? And I was like, nah, I'm just here for the entertainment. But on certain days or whatever, right, they used to have these specials where it's $1 beer. So I was like, hell yeah, I ain't shit. Why would I turn that down? Beer and some titties and some good conversation from time to time, depending on who's there. So shit, that's what I used to do from time to time. I used to just pull up on a good Tuesday afternoon, have a few beers, and I used to kick it with the girls there. It wasn't really any type of music or anything playing at the time. It was all just casual combo before the night really got started. And on a Tuesday, what the fuck is really happening on a Tuesday anyways, right? But one thing that really started to stand out to me when I used to go on a regular during those hours and those times was the fact that a lot of business people used to be in there at around those times as well. So I would see a lot of people from out of town talking about, yeah, we're here on a business trip from Baltimore, and I used to have some conversation with the motherfucking dudes in there as well too, because it's like, what the fuck are y'all doing here? I thought I was the weirdo, but you got a bunch of other people in there as well too. So these were a whole bunch of older businessmen in there talking about a whole bunch of different things. So the whole setup of thinking that a strip club is just for just for ass and titties and getting wasted is a half truth. Now, I would say I was definitely the youngest person in there. There weren't really too many people my age, because obviously people my age weren't thinking about hitting up a strip club at like fucking 5 o'clock, unless I would invite these motherfuckers to be like, yo, y'all need to get in there and like mix with the girls early, because once the night really gets started, if you stick around for another few hours or so, they'll be more comfortable hanging around you than, you know, the weirdo that comes up in the spot high off cocaine or drunk as a motherfucker already. You know what I'm saying? At least you built a rapport, you got your bid in, and you know, you still got a few dollars. They'll still kick it with you, even, you know, when you're about to leave. You know what I'm saying? They'll still tap in with you, give you some type of play or whatever the case may be. But back to the fact that the high value men that I would consider to be people of like good stature or whatever, that's really making money, these guys used to show up in there. When I used to show up in there at those times, I used to show up in there with like my work clothes and shit. I'm just fresh out the warehouse. You know, I'm dusty. You know what I'm saying? I threw on my little Axe body spray. I ain't wearing no famous flashy cologne, but at least they saw a working man coming in it, right? But there was a difference between me as the working man and the business working man, the white collar or blue collar working man, right? Who has more money? You would figure that, you know, the man with the white collar definitely has more money. So I would see these things, right? And I would see, you know, the type of women that would be attracted to these type of guys. But then again, too, in the strip club, you know, these girls in the strip club, they make more than me. I'll tell you that. So they made more than my black ass, and you know, money kind of attracts money. So aside from what I had to do to get the girls would know who they would normally be attracted to, obviously. Now we're talking about a strip club environment. Obviously, the whole goal, as you know, the women working in there, is to find the guy with the bread. So obviously they're gonna, you know, be attracted to the guys that look like money. But in my mind, you know, I was like, yo, listen, I got, you know, a better mouthpiece. I could run a little bit of game or whatever the case may be, however it works. Plus, shit, I was in here longer. What the fuck? I built a better rapport. But that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't matter when it comes down to. That doesn't matter when it comes down to. Is it hypergamy? Is that what they call that? When they just sniff out the best opportunity. And I ain't mad at them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at them at all. I can't be mad at that. Why would you be mad at that? So, in conversations with some of these guys, right, I used to ask them, you know, where they're working, what type of jobs, what type of positions they're in these jobs. I mean, and, you know, just to pick their brain, because me working at a warehouse is not something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be the guy coming in there with the fucking collar and the shoes looking all shiny. I might have been talking to a pimp, now that I really double back on it. It may have been a pimp I was talking to, because if I'm in a strip club early and they in there early too, they may just be on some check-in time with their hoes. But I wasn't thinking like that at the time. You know what I'm saying? I was not thinking that I'm in there mixing and bumping shoulders with fucking pimps. But the conversations was definitely, you know, a lot different than how a pimp would have a conversation. Because a lot of these men would tell me when I used to, you know, have these conversations, was about their corporate jobs and shit like that, right? How they're just out, you know, just taking a load off from just being under a lot of pressure, whether it was selling stocks and most of them were really in sales. And they weren't really that much older than me, maybe by a few years. You know, it was a few years, about 6 years older than me. So they're around that age group, 6 years or more. But most of them, sometimes I would find them to be around the 6 year older than me range. Nobody my age or younger, anything like that. And yeah, man, they used to tell me about a lot of their positions at their jobs and shit like that. And it was really something interesting that I found that was very odd, that these are the type of men that a lot of these women were more attracted to. Not to say, though, that maybe because they were pulling in money, but in my position, though, right, even though I was a dusty warehouse worker that was coming in there, maybe, just maybe, they would have given me the benefit of the doubt to be like, yo, this motherfucker could be a manager, You know what I'm saying? Because managers at the job that I was working at the time or whatever, definitely braked in some serious bread. Shit, at the time I was working three jobs, so I had to go to the strip club from time to time just to get some fucking, just to release some stress and be around some good company. Now, the strip club that I went to on a regular, it wasn't like one of those type of strip clubs that was offering coochie in the back or anything like that, especially not during the early hours. And I never really even went to the back too often to really even find out. Every time I would have went to the back was usually just for, a single lap dance to really just get an experience, just to really see what the fuck it was all about. So at least I could say I've been back there if I'm ever back again with, people who are celebrating a birthday with or whatever the case may be. You don't want to be that type of dude that's like saying that you've been to a certain spot and you have no experience about the spot if you're there with friends or whatever, right? So when I used to be back there or whatever, it was never really anything like that. There weren't even any touching. You can't even take a camera out. It was a very prude strip club, but they had some of the best women amongst all the strip clubs. And I'm in a very reserved type of location. I'm talking about like I'm on the far end of New York. You know what I'm saying? Damn near the Hamptons area. So these people are very uppity and preppy and shit like that. But a lot of women from like the inner cities used to come out to this side to make the bread. So that's why they had a very very good selection of women, because I guess the women out in the city are just the city strip clubs are just packed. So they need to go where the money is. And obviously that's why I was intrigued at the fact that a lot of these badass Spanish and black women were just looking at all these white dudes, and it was like, yo, I thought it was all about black love. I thought it was all about, yo, show me some love. I'm a working man in the spot. Back to the fact though that I'm saying that most strip clubs have these high value men in there that are white collar or blue collar, making well over 100,000. They don't want the guy that's making 60,000 like myself. They're not really that interested in those type of guys. They want the men that are just in there, I guess, harvesting, the cream of the crop. The how to say this thought without saying it in a very derogatory way, right? How do I say this thought? Because in the strip club, right, there's a certain type of women in the strip club that I think high value men tend to look for, right? Because they look for the women who are like submissive. But I think obviously though the money plays a role, but it didn't really always play the role with me though. You know what I'm saying? Like there was times where I was able to mix and mingle with some of the best of them, and it wasn't really a money thing. Maybe it was just the entertainment thing for managers. Oh, the manager didn't want to see me talking to this guy and not at least trying to get some money out of him or whatever the case may be. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? It goes for great customer service, right? Isn't that all what it's all about at the end of the day? But I don't know, man. Maybe it's because of my thought pattern, because I always think deep into certain things of exactly why, right? Why give me very finite attention, but when these guys are around, these guys get more attention. So I see that most high value men go to the strip club to really get the cream of the crop, because there's a certain type of women in it. These women are very submissive when they know that money is around. They're very submissive, knowing that they could probably get what they're looking for from this guy because he seems like a man of means. Seems like a man of means. He has he presents himself like he has what it takes to be successful. And maybe I need to do that. Maybe my new thing now is to look like a man of means, even though I'm working towards abundance and more means, right? Instead of showing up to these strip clubs in like Jordans and shit, fresh out of work, looking like a nigga that's been beaten, battered, and bruised off the plantation, pull up in that bitch with a motherfucking suit, cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? Wear some what what are those things called? What the fuck are those things called? Those high pants, corduroys? No, they're not corduroys. I don't know, man. But go up in that bitch, spiffied out. Wear something, wear something neat and put together. So maybe that, you'll get the attention that these type of guys got, because they could have been lying. Who's to really say that these men were really out here presenting themselves in a type of way to really, get this type of attention, right? Who's to say that these guys were really of value? Who's to say? But the type of women in these strip clubs, though, were my type of women. I'm not gonna lie. I just like a chick who is just not so prudish, are open for conversation. They're not prude. They're open for conversation. They're more relaxed, right? Because when I'm in like a club environment, if I'm just going out to a regular ass square club and I'm trying to have a decent enough conversation, like there's a lot of defenses that you gotta go through, right? You can spit some of the coldest game, but it still wouldn't like really equal up to anything, because a lot of these girls sometimes, man, in these strip club, I mean, in these regular average square clubs, aren't really even open for conversation. They think you're just trying to fuck right there on the dance floor, and it's like, maybe I am, but who are you to say that? Who are you to jump to that conclusion? You know what I'm saying? Let's work to that point, because maybe I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's like in a strip club sometimes. It's like they have to convince you to want to do that, not you having to convince them. And maybe you might not be in the mood and they have to get you in the mood. And that's something that is honestly appreciated sometimes. A chick that's willing to dive deep into figuring out exactly what makes you relax, what makes you comfortable. Strip club etiquette, man. And I realized that, So even though there's times that I used to be up in these strip clubs and was hardly getting any attention from time to time, it never really used to bother me, because after a while, they'll start to open up to you as well too, because not all these men that be coming in there, and there was hardly any, half the time. The other half of the time, it was pretty much guys like myself. If it's not me and my homie pulling up to the strip club where there's like 6 girls that are, they're about to start the show, it's like, yo, we're the center of attention. So, we are the ones that they have to talk to, because at the end of the day, it's all about customer service, customer satisfaction. But within that customer satisfaction, you get to really like build your game a little bit. You get to break the barrier of just, being nervous of having a conversation with a chick. I mean, there's a lot of things to learn from the strip club, man. And I would advise a lot of men, especially if you're shy or you're just, working on your game, you want to build confidence and whatnot, just pull up to a strip club with like $60 in your pocket, on a good night, you know what I'm saying? And like get yourself a drink, you know what I mean? Sit at the bar for a little bit, chop it up with the bartender, because she's not a stripper. She's just a bartender, that's there, that knows the girls a little bit more than you do. And you could chop it up with her a little bit. And, if you see something going on, or, you see some interesting characters in there, maybe introduce yourself and see what's up. You never know what type of doors that might open up to you out there. Never know what type of doors might open up. Because there was a lot of people who I've met that I've never really kept in contact with, that I should have, because, well, at the time I really didn't feel like I need to. I'm like, yo, man, I'm really doing my own thing. But as I continue to understand what being high value means, you need to have a network of people that you could relate to and build with. And the thing is that once you start building with these people, you can open up some doors that was never really available to open to you before. You know what I mean? Something interesting to really think about. Something very interesting to think about. But that's why I believe that a lot of high value men go, or at least stop from time to time. They all stop at the strip club. Shit, even Kevin Samuels said that how he would hire escorts and things like that for certain events. Not for sex, it's just to be able to have something nice on your arm because you're going to a certain event where you need to be able to present yourself a certain way. See, sometimes you have to play the role to get the role. I've always heard people say that, right? Yo, you got to dress, you got to dress to impress, man. Dress for the position that you want, man. You got to, if you want to be a CEO, you got to dress like a CEO. I guess that's why a lot of people out here in these streets today be dressing like drug dealers. I guess they figure that to be a certain high value where they will go out there and, they'll go out there and dress like that. Now I'm getting an error message on my stereo app. Let me see what they talk about. Change the topic if the convo has. I ain't trying to change nothing, man. I'm having a good conversation about strip club etiquette, man. And this is just about the interactions between the people in there. There's other things too, man. When it comes down to how you got to treat some of these girls, and then there's been times I've gotten great reception. I've gotten my homeboy laid at certain strip clubs, not in there. Like this is like some out of strip club shit. Like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I can't really say that, it happens on all the time on a regular, but nah, motherfucker, never been to a strip club before, showed up to a strip club and was able to like build a relationship with a chick outside of it, got himself some ass, and was actually more likely to show up to a spot with the kid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, introduce you to a new world that you didn't think was open like that. Because his friends around him was all talking that negative talk. Oh, you going up in there, you meeting these drug addicts and shit. And it's like, bro, there's more than just drug addicts in the strip club. I love the strip club. I met a lot of great people in there, and I think that more people should appreciate the strip club, even though it is exploitation to a certain degree. I think for both ends, for the high value men that go in there, to the regular average everyday Joe that goes in there, even down to the girls, even down to the women. Let's see. I got a comment. Let me hear what you got to say. Dami La Rosa.
I don't have a problem with this conversation. I'm actually enjoying it. I think for me, it's just like growing up, I was always encouraged to pursue education. And it's probably because my mom was like, impregnated at a younger age. And it's just like crazy to grow up and like have like guy homies who prefer, or like I always thought like if I hit hard times, being a stripper was like one of the last things I would do. But it's like now we're kind of living in a time where it's encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just crazy to me because I always grew up thinking, like that's the last option. Like I saw my mom do everything, but like never had to strip. So like now to see that guys encourage that in women, I just think that's a conversation in itself.
Yeah, and thank you for commenting, man, because that's very interesting that you said that, because it, I mean, granted, right, it does have its stigma, and most people aren't going to say, for you to really make it when you're really down and out, you just have to sell your body. Nobody is I wouldn't ever push anyone in that direction to say, because if there's other options, obviously pursue other options. But if one of those other options is stripping, I mean, there's a time for everything. I mean, there's a reason to do anything. Like shit, there's jobs that I myself have found myself doing that I never thought that I would be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like the warehouse job I was talking about when I was, popping up at the strip club right after the job. I didn't ever wanted to do that shit. I see myself as a very successful, smart person where I could accomplish many great things. I mean, even now, I've accomplished a lot of like things that I never thought I would ever be able to accomplish just because I applied my mind to doing it. Now, when it comes down to like things that you just have to do though to survive and whatnot, I mean, granted, sometimes you got to suck it up and work that McDonald's job or whatever the case may be. And when it comes down to stripping though, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're in like the right type of crowds, because not all crowds are like bad in the strip club environment, right? If like I said, the club that I was going to all the time was very prude. Like they didn't want you to touch the girls. They didn't want you to have your camera out. They didn't want you to the conversations have to be very minimal unless there was some type of transaction going on. If you go to the back, it was like very guarded. There was like three security guards in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've gotten a good feel to where depending on where you are and the environment, it could be definitely something safe to make some very good money, because I'm pretty sure those girls were making more than me. And it's like, you don't have to you're not necessarily putting yourself in danger. And plus, I mean, it ain't really nobody else's business really at the end of the day what you're doing to make some cash. If it's something that you're just doing for the moment, right? There is its dark side. Like I said, there is a stigma behind it. There are people who look down upon it and whatnot, but there are people though that do go to the strip club that are just looking for companionship. Really, they're not necessarily looking to be, they don't even want to dance. They're just there for the conversation. Like myself, I was pretty much in there for just to run game, just to talk to chicks and just pick their brains a little bit, find out a lot. Like, I've built a lot of confidence just going in there and just having just average everyday conversations. And that's the reason why I used to show up so early, because I don't want to show up there like when it's packed out, a whole bunch of sweaty ass drugged up dudes. And that's when it starts to get dangerous, around those times when it's like late at night and there's like a whole bunch of coke and drugs and shit start flying around. I mean, you use your level of decorum to not necessarily get yourself caught up in those type of crowds. You find who you could build with and relate to and whatnot, and you do your thing. Not everybody deserves your time and attention. But when I used to go there, it definitely helped me build a lot of confidence, and I appreciated that, because like I mentioned before, if I go to like a regular square ass club and I try to have like the same conversation that I have in a strip club, the reaction would be completely different. I would look at like a creep at a regular club asking a chick, you know what I'm saying, what where you from, and if you here with your friends, just simple as questions to lead up to different things. Then it would be if I'm in a strip club where a chick is just a little bit more relaxed, knowing that one, she's half naked, so there's really nothing there's nothing left to the imagination, when the girls in the clubs are like half naked a little bit too, but they feel like they're owed something for doing this. When a girl at the strip club is like, nah, I'm just comfortable in my own skin and my song's about to come on and I'm about to enjoy myself. And if you enjoy what you're looking at, you know what I'm saying, spread the wealth and whatnot. And I appreciate shit like that. I appreciate the natural flow of just interest with each other. I don't like that forcible type of interaction with people that you get at certain regular square ass locations and shit. That's why I prefer lounges as well too. Let me hear what else you got to say.
That's the thing. It's just like, why would I put myself around drugs? And I don't know. I guess that's like, I'm sexy, and I think I'm sexy as fuck. But I don't. I like my peace more than being around other demons, people's demons. I don't. I'm just not friendly enough. But I don't know. I just think it's a good thing. Like, I see how men kind of, y'all got a little pedestal for strippers nowadays, and so it just makes a normal woman raise a question. Like,
What the hell?
like me, I don't know. There's like me putting on a bikini for the beach versus like there's still something about if a man sees that you like to be naked in front of, I guess, a crowd that just is more appealing these days. I don't know. Hmm.
It is. I personally, I think it is. Now, as far as like strippers being put on a pedestal, it's like another level of promiscuity. Like knowing that a chick is comfortable enough in her skin that she doesn't really mind showing a little extra something is very appealing. Obviously, I guess it's just sexual nature within a man, right? To just be able to be like, maybe it's just the regular sexual nature within men to always want to just be able to see a little bit more than usual, right? But the thing with strippers though is that they're more, I guess, just a little bit more relaxed than usual. They're just more open. And I think that's what's been missing a lot these days when it comes down to just regular interaction between men and women. Like just the natural conversation and just ability to be comfortable within each other's skin. Like I can't just feel like I could come up to a chick in a mall and just have a conversation without feeling like maybe, if I might have said the wrong things, I might be crucified for it, right? Because that's like one of the biggest fear that a lot of men have. They feel like, yo, if it's a little nerve wracking. But when it comes down to a stripper or girls that have that type of mentality where it's like a little bit more relaxing, it's not really a nerve wracking thing because it's just a natural type of thing with a lot of girls in the strip club. They don't necessarily find it. They're not necessarily too nervous to do too many things, and that's what I think is missing. That's why I think a lot of guys feel like they're more comfortable just popping up there because they feel like they could say what's up, how you doing, and it could run into a pretty good conversation, unlike just being out and about. Now, I get it. Not every guy needs to have a good conversation, or not every guy should be conversated with because there's a lot of people out here, a lot of creeps out there and whatnot. But the stigma behind the fact that most guys are a certain type of way kind of holds back the appreciation for just the average everyday girl, because now there's always this like mindset where I just there's just that level of just I can't even have this conversation because who knows where it might go. The modern men are just looked at as as weirdos for some reason all of a sudden though. That's like the bad thing about it, and like you don't none of that happens when you're in the strip club. Now then again too, maybe it's because most girls in the strip club are just looking for they're looking to get that bag, they're looking to get that money, so they have to be nice. But why does it have to be in that type of environment for girls to be relaxed, for girls to be calm enough to just have the simple conversation with the average guy these days, to say what's up. Sometimes when I'm in the spot, they come up to me and they say what's up. And what's odd about that too, right? When I go to like certain countries, because I've been to all the countries where men are like judged, right? Like Brazil and Colombia and DR and all these places where like, it's a man's paradise and shit like that, right? I went to these countries. And the thing that's different about these countries, just the average everyday woman, right, is that they are just as comfortable as the women in the strip clubs. I'm just talking about average everyday woman. They're just as comfortable in these countries like girls in the strip club. They'll come up to you and say hello and whatnot. They'll even though you may not know the language too well or whatever, still though they're more receptive to helping you and speaking with you and just being comfortable enough to have a conversation with a man. So in my mind it's like, wait, why am I getting the same type of vibe and feeling like if I was talking to a girl in a strip club and I'm just talking to an average everyday girls in a foreign country? But when I come back to my country, it's like the vice grips on my nuts. It's like if I say the wrong things, I might get cursed out, not knowing that hey, there's a level of there's a barrier here still that has to be broken. Let me see.
Like that's the beauty of the finesse.
True.
Just like porn, like shit, they get in a bag, just a bag. That
Hmm.
bag will make you fucking.
Relax.
It's like I guess when regular women know that there's not a bag involved, who's gonna put on the extra act?
Yo, that is crazy.
Crazy. It's kind of sad, but that is what today has turned into.
And I'm sick of it. I am sick of it.
I always told myself, I'll make legal money and da da da, but like I'm starting to feel like I might have to get on some vicious shit. And I always wanted to be dignified, not post too sexy of pictures, not do like. But I feel like we are really in that generation to where like I don't know. That's how you make your power moves now. You should go ahead and just go viral. Jump off the fence.
Yeah, nah, I hear that. It is more socially acceptable though to for women to make money being extra sexy than it is for men. I mean, it's always been like that for years, right? But nowadays, with like the evolution of like OnlyFans and all these different things, it's like you could definitely be able to make a living off of just having massive sex appeal. Shit, I mean, if I could do it, I would. I don't find myself to be how do you say it, unattractive person. Like I'm a pretty well put together guy, but it's not like I'm not confident to do that type of thing. I just know that it's like me taking up figure skating when I'm a basketball player. It's like I'm best at this, but doing this is definitely gonna it's out of my range. I don't even know where to begin and how to start. And if I do, now I'm really starting from the bottom, building up, working my way up. It's like a very uncomfortable type of evolution, and I'm not, it's not, in the bag for me, man. But neither is, scrubbing dishes either, though. You know what I'm saying? I have like a lot of great value, but I can't be prideful as well either, too. I got to be able to step outside the box and really just do things if I have to justify the means. You know what I'm saying? The ends got to justify the means. So if I got to do it, I got to make sure that I'm doing it for a purpose and whatnot. So I mean, if you got to go viral, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure it's something that you don't mind doing. But if there's other ways of doing certain things, definitely, I would recommend doing that first, right? Because, you don't want to be out here going viral for something that you feel uncomfortable with. Now society expects you to always do that. And it's like, well, I only did that because, I just had to pay off, this crib real quick or whatever. But nah, man, it's definitely a strange dynamic these days, and the whole notion that girls are chasing the bag, I respect that. I respect chasing the bag, and that's why me today as well too. As I chase my bag, I've been so like removed from talking to girls, chasing girls, like doing the extra most for girls and stuff like that these days. Like when I used to be working a job, because when I used to be working, I used to put myself out there a lot. But now it's like I need to like really focus on my freedom and independence and how to enterprise myself, because I have way too many talents for me just to be mediocre. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel that way too. I'm pretty sure a lot of women feel that way as well too. That's why they try to align themselves with certain men that could open up these type of doors and opportunities for them and whatnot. And that's why, again, back when I was talking about the whole strip club situation, a lot of these women that are in there, they know that they're not in there for long. They're just in there really just to figure out how they could build their network. Because there was a lot of chicks too, right, that I used to run into in the strip club that I end up seeing. Like I would literally leave after going in at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, leaving there at like 7, and then linking up with some homies, and then we hit up a bar or whatever right after. Because literally, when I hit up the strip club early, and I chopped up with the girls and whatnot, there we mix, we mingle, we have a few drinks, have a few laughs or whatever. Ain't no dancing and none of that funny shit because it's early or whatever. We ain't trying to do that yet. I used to leave there very confident, so I used to go home, get ready and whatnot, and I used to hit up certain bars where I'm able to like run game, because the type of girls that are in these regular square ass spots are not as attractive as the girls in the strip club. So in my mind, I used to think, who are you? At the end of the day, I was just talking to a dime in the strip club. You're like a 4 or maybe even a 5. You really have nothing, really to offer me. So, I'm gonna just go back there next week, Tuesday, or whatever the case may be, build up my confidence and whatnot. So I would link up with my homies, hit up the bars, and I used to see those same type of girls sometimes in these bars mixing with some of the businessmen. Then again, like I said, I don't know if these guys I don't know if these guys may have been pimps or something like that, which I didn't never look like it, and the type of conversation that they looked like they were having definitely didn't really seem like it either too. Like there'll be certain chicks that I used to see at certain spots in like other regular spots. Like I'll walk into like a Chili's or Applebee's, a little restaurant or whatever, and I'll be seeing them just at the bar, just having just regular ass shit. I mean, obviously everybody, and there's no type of, we're all human. We all got to eat, shit, and sleep. So it's like, just because you run into me pumping gas doesn't mean, you shouldn't run into me pumping gas because I'm a stripper. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought it was strange, though, that, these people that are in these spots are also doing what I'm doing as a man as well. Networking, building, having constructive conversations sometimes. And maybe if things escalated and, it escalated from there, it escalated from there. I mean, my homie who I took to his first strip club, end up linking up with some chick who they exchanged numbers, which is obviously taboo. Like they're not supposed to be doing that, but they exchanged numbers and whatever. And that was his girl for like for about a year or so. And he shit. The experience and time that they had was well worth it. I mean, he never hit up a strip club after that, but the first time that I took him there, or whatever, he was able to link up and had a greater experience than me because I've never really linked up with any chick out of the strip club like that. But for him, it was like, holy shit! I never knew that I could be able to pull up to a spot, link up with a chick, and actually have a vibe with a chick. Unlike when we used to hit up regular clubs, it would be like, yo, what the fuck? It's like a constant, fight just to get a chick to give you your number, give her your number or whatever, go get a number from her or whatever the case may be. The dynamic is always very different. And so sometimes it is the bag that these girls are chasing when they're in the strip club and whatnot. Everybody's chasing a bag. Everybody's out here trying to get it. And in my life right now, I'm definitely trying to get it as best as I can. Maybe I might have to stop back at a strip club once or twice just to see who might be in there. Link up with the right chick and be like, yo, listen, you know what I'm saying? Let me pick your brain real quick on what you got going on in there. Maybe we could put some things together or whatever. You got an audience, I got I got the skill. We can make some money out of it or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, we all trying to eat, right? I guess some people are trying to eat more than others, and some people are just trying to survive. And that's the thing. I'm not just trying to survive anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be that warehouse worker, even though your man went to college, has all these skills, and, knows the internet in like the back of his hand. There's definitely other avenues where the skills should be used to do better things instead of just settling for what's needed to be done. Do what you actually want to do instead of just doing what you have to do. You dig? Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. That's my whole strip club etiquette, right? Well, not the whole thing, that's just one side of it when it comes down to being like a high value man trying to, find my way through the weeds as I continue to build and grow out here, because the future is bright, especially when you have a different mindset to certain things. You're not just looking at a strip club as a place for sex, drug, and infidelity. You know what I mean? It's bigger than that. It's deeper than rap. And hopefully the world could realize that, man. Hopefully the world could, be able to remove that stigma away from it, man. In Atlanta, I know strip clubs are huge. In Texas, strip clubs are huge. Not anybody could really go up in a strip club and actually, even if you're a bad chick, it's not that easy just to get a job. Not at a good spot anyways, where you can make some good money. There's a lot that's required of you. Got to be certain, you got to look a certain way, be a certain, be a certain type of individual and whatnot to have conversations with people. They don't want no stuck up ass chick on stage that don't know how to dance and whatnot. You know what I mean? It'll fall short of what they're trying to have. It'll fall short of exactly what needs to happen in this strip club. So not everything is for everybody. Even if you're a beautiful ass chick that think that you could probably, head up in the strip club and make some extra cash, it may not be for you. Go up on there, embarrass yourself and whatnot. Now the whole town is talking about you and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers snuck a video. Now it's on the internet of you embarrassing yourself and shit. Yeah, you don't want that happening. You don't want that happening. Shit. And it has happened. It definitely has happened. But some of my next trips though that I want to take is definitely down to those places. Go to go to Texas, go to Atlanta, go to all these different places and see what it's like. I don't mind, taking a trip on the wild side because my whole perspective on things are very different. I don't see the world through the optics of society. You know what I'm saying? I kind of see it my way. I'm an introvert anyway, so what the hell am I doing at any of these type of events? And speaking of too, right? I went to I'm gonna give this one story because this was like my first time ever experiencing any shit like this. So I've never heard of underground parties. Now, I don't know about you, but an underground party in New York is it's different from a strip club. If a strip club, it's like way more X-rated than a strip club. Like we're talking like, and it gets worse than that. You know what I'm saying? There's so many levels to this shit. Like a strip club and a stripper is like just just a tip of the iceberg. It's the most mundane type of thing, right? But then it goes deeper than that. And I didn't know that until I got invited one time to this one event. So this one guy, he hosts these type of parties and he was like, yo, I'm hosting this event or whatever. If you want to come through and mix and mingle with some players and some people, whatever, there's going to be a bunch of girls there. Definitely come on through. I'm going to be there. And he's a pretty big, player in the New York industry, right? I mean, he's big. He was big in hip hop too at one point in time. Like he used to be shoulder to shoulder with people like French Montana and shit like that. He still has a close relationship to a lot of these guys in the music industry and whatnot, right? So he threw this one event and he invited me. She sent me the invite with the address and whatnot. Obviously, you got to pay $50 to get in. Crazy. Different from a strip club because when you go to strip clubs, it's like $10 to get in, $20 to get in. This event was $50 to get in. So I'm like, all right. I mean, usually I thought it was just a regular strip event. So I had to go back to the ATM and take out some more bread because I thought I was getting it for free. Little did I know, right? But ain't shit free out here. So paid my bread. I walked up in there, and yeah, man, I had a drink or two. You know, the vibes was right. Shorties was walking around or whatever, right? But the regular strip club event was happening. I was watching the time because I had shit to do that day. But after once it passed 12 o'clock, that's when shit started to get really X-rated. Panties started to come off. The licking and sticking started to happen. No dudes. This is just girls on girls. Girls was walking around butt ass naked. And this is New York. There's no nudity in New York. That shit doesn't happen. These girls in there were yo, it blew my mind. I thought I seen it all until I seen this shit. Blew my whole mind. Walking around, doing all types of weird shit. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then homie was just telling me like, nah, man, this is just a small event. I'm just getting back in the game. And it was a very small venue. So it wasn't like a big venue or whatever. And he told me that, yo, I used to throw shit like this in bigger venues. So, he said, I'll give you the invite to that one next time. But I mean, I seen all I needed to see. I'm like I said, I don't be in these type of situations like this. So this is my one and only event. But if it's on some networking shit, I'll definitely pull up and, break bread and do business. I was able to hand out a couple cards and whatnot, to follow up or whatever the case may be. But it was wild to see some type of shit like that. Women are still open. They're, you know what I'm saying? They coming up to you. And again, it's all, I guess, part of the finesse, like you said, right? It's all about just being comfortable, approaching men. Like women were approaching men. That's the thing that's missing. Like women don't approach men no more. Women don't Well, I mean, have they ever? But I mean, in this day and age, women have a lot of power that they should be at least open enough to approach men, to at least be like, to say what's up or something like that. That would shock a lot of men if a chick decides to just open up and say hello or some shit like that. Because most men are in their head on top of the pressures that they have to survive just throughout the day. So a chick that says hello is always mind blowing to me. So when I'm out there and shit like that, and a lot of these strip clubs and a lot of these events and a lot of these places or whatever, just having chicks come up to me, it's always, refreshing. It's always dope to be able to have those type of conversations and shit like that. And again, like I said, I'm pretty well put together dude. I'm shit. If I had to give myself a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, as of right now, I would say that I'm like an 8. But once like my hair finally comes together because I'm growing out dreads and whatnot, shit, yo, I'm definitely gonna be back on my A game again, especially once all these endeavors and whatnot that I got going on really starts to snowball as well. Because I'm out here working, I'm out here building, and I do hold myself to a very high standard. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm in shape and my skin is clear. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do none of that. So that's another thing. Being in these spots and not having any type of drugs or alcohol in your system could be nerve wracking, especially if this is your first time. But I'm the type of guy that likes to put himself out there. I don't mind stepping out of my comfort zone from time to time if I know it's something that I would want to build upon. I would want to at least say I experienced this. I've been to these places. I've seen these type of locations and whatnot. Because if I got to pass down stories to my children, at least I could tell my kids what it was like to be locked up, what it's like to be in strip clubs, what it's like to be in dangerous locations, what it's like to be prosperous. You got to have a versatile life, man. And if a chick got to strip for a year just to make that bag so she could invest that into herself so she don't have to strip ever again, do that shit. There's a lot of square ass chicks that strip for like a year, make that extra money, build up that clientele, and live off of that. You know what I'm saying? I know a few chicks actually that's doing that right now. That's living pretty good off of just selling feet pictures or some shit like that. I don't know their business, but I know they took a little gamble. They fucking worked as a bartender at certain places or whatever, and they live in. I guess they making it how they making it, and they're comfortable with doing that. They're out here making the best of it, and I continue to build progress and strive for better, strive for more. Yeah, man, I definitely recommend everybody to at least step out their comfort zone once in a blue moon and learn something, build, have belief in themselves that they could be able to overachieve and succeed. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody that stopped through, that kicked it with me, that that left some messages and whatnot. I appreciate everybody who left a comment and whatnot. Until next time, make sure to check out the website, Trap Politics TV, trappolitics.com. He is I and I am him. It's your boy Rel. Let the games begin. Peace, prosperity, and love from now to the end. Holla at me.